Harry Kazianis is the president of the Rogue States Project. He joins us tonight to assess where China is in all this. Harry, thanks so much for coming on. So I guess the question is, to what extent is China bluffing, if any? What do you think?
Oh, Tucker, I'm going to be honest with you. They're not bluffing at all. They have been preparing for this scenario for 30 years. I mean, if you go back to 1995, 1996, we had a similar situation with China when Taiwan's president wanted to come back to Cornell University to visit his alma mater. We had a very similar crisis. But at the time, the United States was the overwhelming military superpower. We had no problems worrying about China. In fact, Chinese military officials couldn't even find our aircraft carriers. Today, the situation is very different. The Chinese have prepped for this scenario. They have thousands of ballistic, cruise missiles, hypersonic missiles, carrier killer missiles. So if there was ever a war between the United States and China, the first thing they're going to do is they are going to attack with a bolt from the blue. They're going to destroy our satellites in orbit. They're going to destroy our communications equipment. We're not going to be fighting about transgender issues on TikTok anymore because TikTok's not going to work in the United States. And then they're going to destroy our aircraft carriers, destroy all of our bases in Asia. This has all been war gamed out. I've actually fought this war in simulators for over 10 years. You know what happens every time, Tucker? We lose.
So, I mean, everyone prays it would never get to a point anywhere near what you described, but of course it could, and the Chinese have not been, I don't think, very subtle about telegraphing their intentions. In the face of this looming threat from this rising power, how has the entire United States Congress sat back and continued to fund a military that gets weaker and more politicized every year? I don't understand that.
I don't either, Chuck, to be honest with you. I mean, a lot of this is misprioritization. I mean, it feels like we're forever stuck in a Cold War mindset. I mean, we're forever stuck in this idea that we're the dominant hegemon. A lot of our foreign policy thinking seems like it's stuck in the 1990s, you know, the unipolar moment, if you will, where the United States is omnipotent, can do anything. Nothing can happen to us. You know, we've got the Atlantic, the Pacific, we've got Canada and Mexico, and nothing can permeate our space. But I think 9/11 proved that obviously can happen. And I think China proves that this threat is very real. And let's face it, Tucker, we're not ready for it.
Yeah, and if this moment doesn't freeze the renewable energy cult in its tracks and makes a laughingstock of anybody who suggests turning our grid over to China, I don't know, honestly, what will. Harry, great to see you tonight. Thank you.
U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi paid a visit to China's Taiwan Island, which the U.S. may see it as a victory for them in promoting their agenda over the Taiwan streets. They hope that China will bear the fact that Pelosi, who is second in line for the U.S. presidency, can visit the island of Taiwan. However, China is determined to fight back to negate the harm to the One China principle by Pelosi's visit to Taiwan and to make it clear to the U.S. and the Taiwan authorities that they cannot arbitrarily cross the red line that the Chinese mainland has drawn and that they have long acquiesced to. Otherwise, they will surely pay the price. The Chinese mainland announced they will conduct several live-fire drills in 6 areas encircling the island of Taiwan, the closest of which is only 9 to 10 nautical miles from the island's coastline. Some of 6 areas are on the routes of Taiwan's major ports. The scale of these drills far exceeds that in the 1996 Taiwan Straits crisis, serving as rehearsals of the blockading of Taiwan as well as the reunification of the island. Under normal circumstances, it would be difficult for the Chinese mainland to conduct such military exercises surrounding the island of Taiwan. Pelosi's visit has provided such an opportunity.
And whatsoever you shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. If ye love me, keep my commandments.